So the year is 2035. Not right now, but in COD. Hey guys, my name is COD BO7 and today we're going to be talking about Call of Duty Black Ops 7, the latest installment in this extremely long franchise of games that does not need to be this long, but here we are regardless. So I'm going to be tackling all three modes that they're bringing into this game, except for Warzone. We're not going to talk about that whatsoever, because even though it's not yet in the game, it will be here soon. So with that being said, we're going to go ahead and start off with campaign, what changed, what to expect, and how it plays out. I'm even going to summarize the missions for you, but when I do that, I will give you a spoiler warning. For now, you don't have to click off, but later on, I will suggest that you do if you want to avoid any potential spoilers. Campaign has been changed to feel a lot more like you're playing a DMZ match now. And if you've never played DMZ, it's basically Call of Duty's version of an extraction shooter. You're on the Warzone map, you're doing objectives, you're collecting loot, you extract, you're done. Now, obviously the campaign is not an extraction shooter in and of its own, but they've implemented a lot of the mechanics that you would see before you even hop into the match, like squad filling and the fact that it's always online. And you now have to matchmake for campaign? Really? Matchmaking? And by the way, the matchmaking does not go away if you're playing solo. If you play solo, you're still going to matchmake. It's essentially the same thing as if you were trying to find a match in Warzone. So as I've mentioned, with the campaign always being online, it means that you cannot pause this experience whatsoever. No matter what part of the mission you're on, no matter if you're playing alone or with friends, you cannot pause this game whatsoever. Like Zombies, which is actually always an online experience. If you played in a private match with friends, if the host pauses the game, it pauses the game for everybody, and it gives a timer to when the match will continue regardless of whether you're there or not. Here in campaign, there's just straight up no pausing whatsoever. There's also no checkpoints in this campaign, so regardless of where you are in the mission, if you quit, that's going to net you an automatic restart of that entirety of the mission, because they just decided to not include save states. Because even games like Destiny 2 being always online, it's going to save your progress when you reach a checkpoint, and it gives that checkpoint to every player that's in the team. Here, however, it says fuck you, you got to do it in a single sitting. Now, if you have the time to complete these missions in a single sitting, you'll be fine, but if you don't, just be aware of that. Now, there's no difficulty options for this campaign whatsoever. I'm pretty sure Treyarch just decided to come up with a difficulty that was balanced for co-op, and I don't think this difficulty changes based on playing co-op or alone, because I did both and the game felt the same regardless, which isn't a bad thing. It means the player should just anticipate that the difficulty will be balanced no matter what. The gameplay will mostly feel familiar to everybody that's played a Call of Duty campaign for the past few installments of these games. But there is so much Warzone DNA in this game that I really have to just talk about it. Now, if you're a Warzone fan, you're going to want to take this part with a grain of salt. Now, I'm not a huge Warzone guy, so maybe that's why my opinion is going to be different than others who are used to Warzone. But I'm just going to say it like this. The campaign feels like it's training you for Warzone when it comes out. And to a lot of people, that might be a good thing, but to me, that's kind of a net negative. And only a negative when it comes to campaign. They don't have to create anything actually creative for this campaign. They just have to slap on all the Warzone mechanics like a slap on the ass. You could argue that the Warzone mechanics being streamlined into the campaign give them more creativity in the level design of the game overall. If that were to actually happen, which it doesn't. Not in this game, at least. It's simply the same Call of Duty formula, just with more streamlined mechanics to another mode. And even though the game has linear and open missions, both of these missions features the exact same mechanics of Warzone. They don't change whatsoever. Not even for the ones that have nothing to do with Avalon itself. So what are these Warzone mechanics, you might be saying? Well, it's the more simple ones. It's not necessarily everything in Warzone. You have armor plating, supply drops, weapon crates. Even the weapons drop with predetermined attachments, just like Warzone. And the open missions that I just mentioned, they're not actually open missions. There's nothing to do besides the main objective, which is a linear path. But you're given this wide open space for you to explore the next Warzone map. That's really what it is. It's a promotion for the next Warzone map. Now, me not being a Warzone player, I didn't really care to explore the map too much. Didn't really make much sense to me to do so, since I'm really not going to be playing Warzone when it comes out for this game. But if you're a player who is interested in Warzone, well, you've got plenty to explore here. In fact, in the end game mode, which I will talk about after the campaign mission summary, I'm going to explain to you how that's going to help you even further. Mission design is pretty much standard Call of Duty. There's a lot of enemy variety, but they all seem to sort of just blend in at some point. Like they're fighting the same thing except with a different weapon, which is really what it is. The robots are the only interesting enemy type to fight in this game, because every time you destroy one, they'll like blast an EMP surge. Like it's a very, very small EMP surge, but it's enough to stun any other robots that are near them. And then you have your mini bosses, and then you know your main bosses. But I'll explain the main bosses when I summarize every mission, because I will explain to you how those boss fights function, how to defeat them, because it's really not that hard to figure out. They're not very creative boss fights, but they're there, and I guess for some people they might be fun. Enemies in this game do have tactics, but the tactics, they'll call them out, and them calling out tactics is actually not for them. It's to help you out. It's kind of like in 2019 where you run behind a dumpster and you would hear the enemy player's character say behind the dumpster, so now you knew that they know that you're behind the dumpster, so you know when to shoot them first. It's kind of like that scenario where the enemy will be like, surround them or flanking, and you're like, okay, so they're surrounding me and they're flanking me. Nice, now I know. This is yet again another Call of Duty that's afraid to let the player acknowledge and be aware of their surroundings. If they had difficulty settings in this game, I think they could have done one where the enemies just do not call out their strategies whatsoever. They keep it to themselves and they actually catch you off guard. That's not to say that you won't be caught off guard in this game. Sometimes they don't call out those strategies and they will walk up behind you and beat the living hell out of you. Like the commandos or commanders, I forgot the name, but they rush at you with machetes or melee weapons, and those are super easy to kill, by the way. But yeah, those probably will catch you off guard pretty often. Some of the enforcers actually caught me off guard as well. I had some enemies that would take a certain amount of damage and then they would just lay there and just let me shoot them. It's like the AI became self-aware and it knew that it wasn't a COD campaign. But anyway, jokes aside, we're gonna go ahead and swap over to the campaign summary explanation. And for this section, I'm going to be summarizing all 11 missions of the campaign and talking a little bit about the end game section. This is your time right now to click off the video if you don't want any spoilers. But for those of you who don't give a shit, here we go. We're 10 years into the future where Frank Woods is now dead. Global instability has risen since the death of Menendez 10 years prior. A video resurfaces of Menendez explaining that 2025 was just phase 1 of Cordis Dia and that 2035 will be the second phase of his operation, inspiring revolts around the globe, creating chaos for world governments. During this chaos, the Guild claims to have a solution that governments effectively do not have. In this mission, you're just sent to this Guild facility to basically recover data from a quantum computer that is being housed at this facility. You're introduced to all the rank and file enemies and you shoot your way through until you get to the quantum computer itself. After that, you start hacking a bunch of terminals, just two, I was being hyperbolic, and you extract the hard drive, plant some C4 and get the fuck out. Fight your way out, and then all of a sudden all these doors start closing in, leading section into a trapped room. We're introduced to Kagan and her new bioweapon, which is just this red gas, which we are the first test subjects of. David Mason decides to be a badass and says, you know what, fuck your gas, and blows up the facility, doing the complete opposite of what he thought he was going to do, and actually releases the toxin all over Avalon. All the soldiers become infected, everybody's all rabid, fighting the shit out of each other, and then for some reason zombies start coming out of the ground. Not actual zombies, but what looks to be like zombies. In an attempt to make your escape, you come across Raul Menendez again, who's not actually there. He's just a fiction of everyone's imagination because they're all tripping balls on this gas. They're like, ignore it, he's not real. As they're running away, they get transported into this fictional world where machetes are flying out of the fucking sky and landing on the ground. Like, what the fuck is this horrible trip? And the enemies that were fighting each other are no longer doing that. They're now fighting you. Also makes no sense in this mission, just as a quick rant, that we're fighting Guild when in this trip, shouldn't we be fighting members of the Nicaraguan army? Something? I don't understand. Anyway, you reach the mansion where Menendez is at, and then you have this really weird boss fight where you use machetes as score streaks to drop it on his head until he dies. And then that's mission 1. So after that bad trip, mission 2 has us starting out with regrouping with Karma. After fighting our way through this town in a DMZ style, you finally regroup with Karma, who tells you that you need biometric data in order to access the hard drive that you stole from the first mission. During this section, you go out, you scan a few bodies, and then for whatever reason, she needs you to go up in the air in a VTOL. So you hop on a VTOL, she flies it around as you somewhat defend it. It's scripted for this thing to blow up at some point, so I wouldn't even worry about the damage on it. But when it does blow up, she's like, oh hey, while that was happening, I got a lock on the location. So you make your way towards the docks where there's a container that is supposed to be housing the biometric holder. Looking inside the container, it triggers a memory event with the gas. Ooh. And this memory event is, of course, of Frank Woods in his time in Angola. If you guys remember, back in Black Ops 2, Mason saved them in on a barge or something like that. This whole other section is us basically chasing woods. We get to this point where at the end of the vines, there's like these flower-like growths that you have to destroy. And then after destroying like 2 or 3 of them, you finally get access to the container that's on the barge floating in the middle of the world. And bam! You're in a nightmare world. Do a little bit of parkour here, shooting a bunch of zombies there, and then now you get back to Frank Woods one more time. Only this time, he transforms into a giant flower boss. What the fuck am I playing? This flower boss is stupid easy, by the way. All you do is shoot the growths that are on it, take cover from the gas and the projectiles that fires at you, kill a bunch of enemies in the time gates, and then shoot the heads off, and bam, you're done. You have this heart-to-heart with Frank Woods where basically David Mason tells him to forgive himself. He wasn't the reason why Alex Mason died. He was tricked into doing it. Blah, 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 blah. Very touching moment. Honestly, this one was very interesting. I'm dumbing it down insanely, but this part was actually pretty nice to see. After returning to the real world, the biometric holder tells you that the name of the bioweapon is called the Cradle. Marshall gets in contact with the team and basically tells everybody, hey, Menendez isn't real, dog. That's a deep fake. And that Mason needs to stop fucking crying about it. Basically, they want Menendez to just be the face of terrorism so the guild can sell their products after infecting the entire world with the gas. There, that's the plot of the whole game. I just told you that. But you're still gonna want to know about the rest of the missions, right? Right? So Menendez be damned, we can't even access the fucking hard drive because we need another quantum computer to do it. And, well, it just so happens that the guild built 2. I mean, why wouldn't you have a backup quantum computer? Come on, guys. This is an obvious plot. Duh. Mission 4 has us setting out to find information, or pretty much any information that we can find on a possible second quantum computer. Just to foreshadow, there absolutely is one. Anyway, while we're out on the field trying to scour information, we're greeted by a boss. Oh, a boss. Oh, the boss is a sniper. A sniper who loves to run away. In fact, the first time you actually get to her position, she's not even there. She fucking dips out before you can even get a shot on her. In order to locate her, you gotta scan that ass. You get a location on her, and then you get on your wingsuit, you fly all the way to her, and then you commence the most boring boss fight ever. Or at least one of them in this game. You would think that as an enemy sniper, she would have, you know, smart positioning, make herself hard to see, especially because she has active camo, right? No, she actually will switch from position to position, and all of them being the exact same. So you'll always know where she is as long as you familiarize yourself with where she was last before she swapped to that new position. Anyway, after doing about half or above half damage, she teleports to another location, and rinse and repeat. You do the same thing you did at the first location that you fought her at. Anyway, after putting a few rounds in her forehead, you are tasked with going towards a facility with data centers that could probably contain all the information on the quantum computers that the guild has probably built. You hack through these data centers, defending every single one like you're playing a Destiny 1 mission. All sections off, still defending the site in this cutscene. Karma's like, oh hey, the other one's in Japan, but we can't send you guys because you're too damn far. So the next mission, you're not even going to play a section. So yeah, let's get to the next one. So mission 5 starts off with Spectre 2, another JSOC team, being sent into the Japanese facility to hack the other quantum computer that's located there. Spectre 2 has their handsome leader, Razor, Anderson, Lin, and Ramask being the guy with the extremely illegal and untested EMP. But we're gonna need it for later, trust me. Anyhow, first objective of the mission is to hijack this boat and secure the VIP that's inside it, because he's supposed to be our tour guide into the facility, allowing us to essentially slip past every guard without having to shoot them in the head, which is no fun, obviously. So I wouldn't take this route regardless. You have some kind of pseudo stealth here. After executing this lovely fellow who was working his 9 to 5 and then murdering the rest of his friends who probably were also on that 9 to 5 schedule, we go below deck to murder a bunch more of these hard-working guild members, and then we walk into the room where the VIP is at, and oh my god, look, he's taking a nap. Oh, that's a gunshot wound. He's not napping. He's dead. Then a bunch of enemies land on the boat. You kill them, blah, 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 blah. And then Spectre 2, like absolute badasses, say, you know what? Fuck the guide. Let's make our own damn shortcut. And they ram the boat into the into the facility. And then you breach the facility, killing and murdering a bunch more 9 to 5 workers. And honestly, I really hope JSOC has some really good lawyers, because their case is going to be really heavy with how many bodies are even behind there in this whole encounter. After allegedly murdering a bunch of more members, you come across this weird turret boss section. I don't even know what the fuck this is in the game, but they decided to put it in here anyway, so whoop-de-doo. You throw an EMP at it, it lowers the shield, you do damage, rinse and repeat until it's dead. Boom, just like everything else in this fucking game. Anyway, after a few more war crimes and corporate espionage, you finally get to the quantum computer. You hack it and defend it again like it's another fucking Destiny 1 mission. I swear to god, this game uses a lot of these hack and defend missions. What the fuck? After all the data is acquired, you're now tasked to go topside and exfiltrate at the top of the building. I'm not gonna lie, guys, this is one of those missions where I actually stopped and looked around. This environment looks fucking spectacular. I love what they did with the design in this mission, and there's even this little parkour section, which it wasn't long and it wasn't creative in any way, but I don't know, I mean, visually it looked good, and I had a good time playing this mission. This was actually one of my more favorite ones. Reaching the top of this building and putting your foot in more guilds' asses, you get to the top, and well, now there's a VTOL boss fight. Woo! This one's actually a little bit different. So the strategy for this boss is actually to shoot at it while it's shooting at you. So don't try throwing EMPs at it. Just wait for it to shoot, find a good spot to like head glitch or something, and then fire at the thing there. Then obviously you have the time gauge where the enemies will come out. You kill a bunch of the enemies, time gauge goes off, you fight the thing again, and then you get to the point where you have that last bit of portion of health, and the shield won't come down anymore. The VTOL's in defense mode. It's not gonna fucking let you blow it up. So you're like, oh, wait a minute, remember that EMP we had at the beginning? We should probably use that. What? It's gonna probably short circuit and kill us? Nah, that's fine. It's a sacrifice we're willing to make, you know? Sacrifice the few to save the many, right? Like in every fucking hero story. So you blow up the fucking EMP and everything gets short circuited. You manage to one-shot the VTOL at the end of that EMP because for whatever reason the VTOL also gives you a god bullet or something. You just one-shot that fucker with an assault rifle, I guess. Now this is the part that fucked with me a little bit. So Razor gets in communication with Section, and while they're in this communication, a bunch of drones come out of nowhere and target Section. Now keep in mind that Section is in a very remote location. Nobody knows where the fuck they are, so for these drones to be here can only indicate one thing. There's a traitor amongst us. No. And can you guess who it is based off of this sentence right here?
David, if we're compromised, we have to lock this shit down. You trust your team, I trust mine, but it can't be absolute.
Yeah, whew, if that doesn't send a chill down your spine, then I don't know what else will. So mission 6 is called Collapse. I think it's trying to tell you what's happening to my brain after playing and having to edit this. I'm okay, I swear. So with mission 6, Section's like, hey, we gotta figure out who the fuck is revealing our information. So that last drone that disengaged when they were being attacked in the sky after talking to Razor, you know, potential traitor, they're like, hey, we should probably follow it, destroy it, and then retrieve any data. Section sets out to find a SAM site to destroy it, but before they can get to the SAM site, they have to get a tablet with access codes to the SAM site. So they get the tablet, they head over to the SAM site, they hack it, you get another hack and defend mission. After the SAM site is hacked and the drone gets shot at, the collision of the missile with the drone, for whatever reason, triggers another gas event. So we're going to go ahead and proceed on to the next mission, apparently. Mission 7 is called Fracture, as if it knows what's going to happen to my brain after I'm done editing this. This mission's a little different. Instead of completely relying on Mason's memory, this one is actually of his team. It starts off with Samuels, who used to be in Secret Service, when Menendez launched his attack on major US cities trying to assassinate the president. This mission sequences are actually really good. There's like all these distortions and shit. There's again more parkour sections that are pretty fun. They even had this cool little section where you're playing Frogger on the highway, and overall it's a familiar environment to those like me who have played the Black Ops 2 campaign. You get to where the drone crash landed for whatever reason in limbo here. You hack it. Once you're finished defending the hack again and you manage to get to the drone, and then upon hacking it, you get transported to another backstory of the other member on your team, 50. Her story is actually not super interesting, so I will not be showing a lot of it here. I'm going to summarize it for you. Woman augment go bad, augment go crazy, almost gets shot at by team calms her down, team no longer has to shoot her. Bam, done. Now at the end of that sequence, because this character is not interesting whatsoever, and they really try hard to not make her interesting, like in fact I think they did it on purpose so that they wouldn't have to give her any more backstory. I'm so sorry, 50. Treyarch set you up for failure. But anyway, at the end of her memory, we get to the USS Obama. If you guys will remember, that's where Salazar in Black Ops 2 actually betrayed Mason, Harper, and the rest of the team. This triggers Harper to just go straight up ape shit. And I'm sure you've seen it by now, but this is where you fight Giant Harper. Yes, Giant Harper. Am I supposed to be taking this game seriously? Because where I'm sitting from right now editing this video, I'm taking it less seriously the more I'm staring at it. This boss fight is extremely extremely juvenile. There's nothing crazy about it. Harper will slam both his hands down like he's throwing a tantrum at a Walmart after his mom told him no to a toy, which you can completely evade by just not being on the same ground level as the attack. And by the way, he never adjusts for you going above ground level. Time gates obviously happen here too. Little Harpers will spawn in and they'll shoot at you. I also had this weird thing in this mission where I picked up an LMG and it had like no ammo in it. I had to load it. Anyway, you do that a whole bunch of times. The hand cannon was my friend in this mission. I just shot him a few times with that at the end. Bam, he's defeated. I want to say he's dead, but unfortunately we don't kill Harper for being a little bitch. Nah, I'm kidding. I like Harper. That was a joke. Karma also gets in touch with the team and tells them, hey, so you know that Razor guy, right? Yeah, he's real bad. He's a bad boy. He's been telling them our secrets and we can't let that happen. But yeah, and then the rest of the team basically is just like, yo, we need to chill the fuck out. This thing is playing with our emotions. We can't let it get the best of us. And then mission 8. Mission 8 has us searching for a lead scientist involved in the creation of the cradle. We essentially climb to the penthouse apartment of this resort or whatever the hell you want to call it, and go into a secret room where he's supposed to be located, but oh no, that'd be too easy. He's not actually in there. You know, while he's taunting section with, you know, being impressed with their implants and all that shit, he triggers a signal that basically, you know, fucks up their seedlings, I think they're called. Now, call me a wise guy, but if I had a transmitter that was sending a signal to disorient my enemies, my backyard would be the last place that I would think to put it. Because why would I make it so easy for, you know what, it's Call of Duty. It doesn't make sense. It literally doesn't make sense. But anyway, this guy's got the transmitter in his backyard. You hack and defend it again for like the 12 millionth time playing this fucking campaign. And then he appears. Wow, ballsy. He actually shows up to fight you. Boss fight is really nothing interesting. You shoot at him, you interrogate him. He tells you that he sends data to this building called the Sanctum. So you get in your fancy little wingsuit and you fly over to the Sanctum, fight your way up to the top, and when you get to the elevator, you're greeted by Alex Mason. It's not actually Alex Mason, it's Kagan trying to get into your head again. She knows that the gas will play with your emotions, so she uses Alex to get into Mason's head one more time, triggering another event. Mission 9. Mission 9 has you dropping the soap the same way your father did back in Black Ops 1. I'm kidding. I'm just giving you a visual representation of what the plot is doing to your brain the more you play this game. Anyway, for this mission, the squad starts out split up. I don't even know why the hell this has to happen in the game for you to split up. But you start off with a knife as your primary weapon. But you never have to use in this mission. The enemies are blind. You can just walk right past all the inmates and they'll never fucking see you. Crouched, obviously. If you stand up and walk around, they will actually hear you. They're blind, but they can still hear, apparently. You're with your team, you open this crate, you get some guns. The cradle gas starts moving towards you. You're like, holy shit, it's coming alive. Oh, so you're running down the straight path, trying to avoid the cradle from touching you because it's a no-no thing. The gas cannot touch your no-no square, okay? If it touches your no-no square, you're fucked, even though you've been breathing this thing in the entire fucking game. Once you escape the cradle and you get past this section, you are greeted with Alex Mason. You tie him down to the same chair that he was used to be turned into a sleeper agent, which is kind of a dick move, but I guess. And then after this section, you get sent over to the cabin where you discover that the memories of the individual who is infected by the gas are what keep the individual sane, and the gas basically kept away. Anyway, after you defend again for 3 times this time, the memories of David for a while, you get swarmed by a bunch of enemies, all the inmates from Vorkuta. The whole time David's trying to get his father to stop being a little whiny bitch and actually help out, and when he does decide to do that after being swarmed by all these enemies, all the inmates turn to your side and they actually help you escape Vorkuta, enacting the exact same plan that Alex Mason did back in Black Ops 1. In fact, I'm not even going to explain this part. Go back and watch Vorkuta gameplay for Black Ops 1. I guarantee you it's identical. The only thing that's not here is the slingshots to blow up all those fucking towers. But other than that, you get to the armory, you get through the gates, and you're done with this mission. Mission 10. Mission 9 ends with us finding a slab confirming all the information that we have on them, trying to blame Menendez and yada 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 yada. Kagan tries to show up and fuck up our shit, but I mean, we're already gone by the time she gets there, so she's fucking late. Mission 10 starts with section going all the way to a safe house to acquire some guns, pick up all the guns, go to the shipping yard, try to eliminate all these fucking cradle shipments. Timer pops up, shipments detonate, then I'm fighting zombies. I guess that makes sense. I'm fighting zombies in the middle of the shipping yard. And this disciple boss comes out of nowhere. Not really a boss. As you can see, he doesn't really have a boss health bar, but it's kind of like a mini boss essentially. Razor decides to show up out of nowhere and try to be the next Salazar and face us in the battlefield. After you're done with this boss fight, you know, Mason looked like he wanted to interrogate him. Harper said, fuck that shit, walked up and just shot him in the back of the head unceremoniously. So I'm like, I mean, I would have done the same. Marshall contacts the team saying, hey, you know, we know where Kratos being made. Oh, Blackheart, next mission. So Blackheart is the last mission in the game. We finally get to uncover where the hell this Kratos gas is being made. Section gets to the Blackheart facility, realizes there's no guards. It turns out, oh, it's underwater. So they get into the spot after murdering these two 9-to-5 workers, and they end up finding the facility where the Kratos shipments are essentially being made. They move throughout the facility, killing more 9-to-5 workers and committing more war crimes. They get to a computer that tells them that, hey, Kratos is being made here, and it's in a reactor. So you know what you do to a reactor when you want to fuck shit up. Yeah, that's right. You make that bitch go critical. Easiest idea Section has ever had. I would have never thought of that idea. Anyway, you go ahead and you make your fight towards the core room. When you get to the core room, it's blocked. You can't open it. There's no way to access it. There's no way to hack it. But there's two mechs that just so happen to be in the room, and the control room right above those two mechs. So you climb up, you grab the mech, you shoot the door down, and then you leave. You also leave the control room open and the mechs behind. Wow, I wonder if a boss fight will be made from that. Hopefully not. You go into the reactor room, you're fighting Kagan consistently trying to get this reactor. And when I mean fighting Kagan, I don't mean you're actually fighting her. I mean you're fighting her computers because she keeps trying to stop you from doing all that shit. So when hacking fails, Karma says, fuck this shit, go analog. So you spin a couple wheels until this bitch fucking disengages and locks up. And then you go to a terminal in the back of the room, hacking it to increase the core temperature of the reactor. You defend again. Hopefully the final time in the game. Yeah, it is the final time in the game. And of course, once the core goes critical, you want to get the fuck out of there. But let's not go too fast, okay? Too many explosions too quickly is too dangerous for Call of Duty. So we got to take it nice and easy. When Section leaves this room, they got to have just enough time to handle this boss fight, to handle Kagan, because she just so happens to be in the facility, and this is when you get to confront her. Finally. You don't fight her directly though. You fight the mechs that you left behind, because Section's fucking stupid and doesn't shut down the technology that they left behind. So you go through this boss fight, you take down 3 of these mechs, and every time you take down a mech, you get this cutscene where 50 tries a little bit too hard to be cool. Again, trying to make a character relevant that you set up for failure in the first place, it's just not gonna sit right with me, okay? No one cares. So you do this 3 times, you go up to Kagan, you confront her, you don't actually shoot her in the head this time like you did Razor, you take her in, and then you go through a really bad trip again because the reactor's imploding and all this fucking gas is everywhere. So you're tripping balls, but this time you're a much stronger soldier and you manage to parkour your way and swim your way out that bitch. A final cutscene plays. Basically, we take in Kagan, and there's this whole brand new bad guy for the guild. Oh, remember that guy at the beginning that was talking to her? You probably don't, because he hasn't been mentioned at all throughout this entire campaign. So let me remind you real quick. This guy, he becomes the main bad guy. Now Kratos might be finished, but Guild isn't. And then we go into the end game. End game mode is essentially that DMZ mode I was talking about at the beginning of this review. It's at the end of the campaign, you unlock it, and all you really do is you're just exploring Avalon, which is the next Warzone map coming out for COD. And it's a good opportunity for you to learn all the POIs, enemy outposts, possible loot locations, and all that if you're looking forward to playing Warzone this year. If you've noticed throughout this review, weapons do level up and unlock camos, as well as you can level up your account as well. By the end of the campaign, I hit level 30, and that's with playing like a multiplayer session or 2. So you might hit around the same, maybe 29, maybe 28, maybe you might even go higher. There are 3 major plot holes in the story that I really want to talk about, and they're actually significantly very important ones. Number 1 is Dorn, second in command of the guild, that speaks to Kagan after her interview with the news anchor. This guy's never brought up again throughout the entire story whatsoever. He's introduced and then completely forgotten about up until the end of the game, where they're like, oh, the guild has a new leader that we didn't know about. His name is Dorn. And it's like, well, you would have known that if you would have properly investigated the faction that you attacked the entire fucking game. Second biggest plot hole is 50. Why is she on this team? They do absolutely nothing to this character to give her reasons to be on this team. In fact, she kind of feels like a placeholder for what could have been a better character. Her backstory did absolutely nothing to increase my care in this character whatsoever. In fact, the moment I saw her is the moment I knew that I wasn't really gonna give a shit about this character, and the game wasn't gonna give a shit about her either. They do so many sections to try to make her look really cool, and it just doesn't work whatsoever. You kind of just cringe at it because you're like, I mean, I don't fucking know this character. Who the fuck are you? I don't know you. And then last but not least is our boy Razor, the golden boy. Who the fuck thought that it was a good idea to make a pitiful, embarrassing side plot of a mole in JSON? They chose the one character that we had only controlled for a single mission and only interacted a single time in this entire campaign to be the big traitor that all of a sudden we're supposed to cry and scream about, like he's supposed to be Salazar or something. Okay, let me tell you something. Salazar actually was important in Black Ops 2. Okay, he was a part of your team, he fought alongside you for a long time, and no one saw his betrayal coming of Raul Menendez, especially because he had a lot of information on Raul Menendez. You know what, now that I say it out loud, you know what, I actually, now it actually makes sense as to why he knew so much about Raul Menendez. So never mind about Salazar. He doesn't earn his place as a traitor, so when you kill him, you don't really like feel anything. In fact, neither does Harper. He shoots him in the head and he's just like, okay, spit on that motherfucker, like I don't fucking care. I don't understand why they wrote this story. All these little side plots are meaningless. They go nowhere. This story is fucking embarrassing. I will admit, I do kind of like the multiplayer this year. I like when Call of Duty experiments with different movement tech, like this little jumping off the wall thing, although it mostly results in me jumping off the map, but it's a fun little gimmick. I mean, you can use it to like peek around corners real quick or like move around in the corner. Like, you know, if an enemy has a sight line marked down, you can just jump over the corner and you're above their reticle and you can just shoot the fuck out of them before they get to shoot you. But yeah, multiplayer this year is kind of fun. Open matchmaking really gives all the players a fair chance at going into first place without having to depend on skill-based matchmaking to make them think that they're good. So yeah, multiplayer review, it's good, but it's pretty much the same as every other COD, so it's nothing special. Zombies this year is actually decently fun. The map that they have in the game right now where you can drive the truck around and shit is actually really good. I really enjoyed what they did with this map. It really feels like a good sequel or successor per se to Transit. Obviously Transit was a unique mode of its own and it was kind of niche. Apparently not a lot of people liked it, but now all of a sudden everybody did. I don't know. Call of Duty fans are fucking weird. I thought Transit was great when it was out, but I still prefer Transit over this because I don't know, it just had a bit of a flair to it. It had an experience to it, you know what I mean? Like, there's nothing better than knowing that your teammate got on the bus and took it to the next station, leaving you behind like an idiot. All the standard perks in Zombies are here, but now you can actually augment those perks to make them significantly better, and they're pretty fucking good. I won't lie to you, some of these augments are cracked. But you gotta obviously put time into Zombies to do that. I'm probably not gonna put that much time into Zombies. Maybe I'll play a few games on stream with my friends, trying to do the Easter egg and all that. Yeah, Zombies overall this year is pretty good. Oh, and they brought back Dead Ops Arcade with the racetrack. Hell yeah. So guys, that wraps up this review for Call of Duty Black Ops 7 campaign. I'd probably give that like a 4 out of 10. Multiplayer, I gotta give it like an average 6 out of 10. 6 out of 10 for me is average, by the way. And Zombies, probably like a good 7 out of 10. I do enjoy it significantly more than Black Ops 6 Zombies. I didn't do shit in Black Ops 6. I didn't do a single Easter egg. I didn't do nothing. And that's not to say the maps were bad and that Zombies was bad. It just didn't really hook me, you know. I like OG Zombies. This new Zombies is okay, but every now and then when I want to go play Zombies, the first game I think about is, you know, Black Ops 2 or Black Ops 1. I don't really think about this new style of Zombies. But I mean, everybody has their own taste in Call of Duty. That's the beauty of it. There's enough Call of Duty games to where you can pick whatever the hell you want to play based on whatever era of COD you want to enjoy. Me personally, I enjoy Call of Duty 2 the most. Anyway, catch you guys on the next video. Hopefully you guys enjoyed, and peace.